Do it.
Okay, welcome back to Sports Weekly MN. I'm Duff from the beautiful North Shore of Lake Superior, and with me today is my brother and co-host Joe from looks like Target Field.
I'm hanging out at Target Field tonight, Duff. Just not, it's a beautiful summer evening here. Got my hot dog, got my snacks ready to go. Got my
Stands are
cheering
packed.
on. Yeah, got my headphones, listening to the radio. We're good to go.
Beautiful. So,
Yeah.
we didn't have a podcast last week. We didn't have a recording for I think a number of good reasons.
Yeah, there's some crazy things happening.
A lot of crazy stuff going on, but we're back this week and we're happy. We've got a lot of stories to cover, everything. But I think the breaking news is literally less than 1 minute ago, the Timberwolves picked, right?
Yes, I did. Anthony Edwards, new Timberwolf.
So he's the number one overall pick in the 2020 NBA draft, Anthony Edwards. And he's from Kentucky? No, I don't know. Remind me, where's
Georgia.
Georgia. There we are. Cool. That's exciting. I was anticipating that they would trade back for, I don't know, somebody else, because there wasn't like a clear LeBron James type franchise player really in the draft class for this year. So I figured, would they trade back and hopefully, multiply their picks. I'm surprised. It's kind of awesome actually that they didn't do that. So this must be the first number one overall pick the Wolves have ever had?
No, they took Karl Anthony Towns.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, that's right. Great. So that's pretty exciting, and
I think the Timberwolves are going to trade their number 17 pick, and they're trying to try to get into the first round next year.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
That's considered an elite draft, and this is considered a below average draft.
Yeah, that would be the Timberwolves' luck.
Well, of course it is.
Yeah. They're the number one overall pick in the worst draft of all time.
I think Anthony Edwards will be a good player, though.
Yeah,
there's some good players here.
Number one overall pick in any year, even a down year, is still going to be, projects to be a phenomenal player. So, cool. That's exciting.
Yep, we'll keep our eye on it and see what happens as it's occurring right at the moment as we're podcasting.
And so we should tell people this week we're trying something different. We're doing a Zoom meeting. Obviously, we are liking the virtual backgrounds so people don't look at our boring...
I think Cruz just hit a homer.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, boring bookshelves and hallways and stuff. So I like the North Shore background that I found here. So pretty cool.
Very peaceful.
So we're going to try and release this one actually on YouTube. I think previously our podcasts, they should have been flowing to YouTube. I don't know if they actually were, but there was never any video. It was just a background. So this week you can see our lovely, gorgeous faces. But the cool thing is we can do screen shares and such this way.
Mm-hmm.
So that's will be a new feature here. And in principle, we can share video clips and whatever.
Mm-hmm. So subscribe, follow our page.
Yeah. So check, hopefully, all this all works. We'll see how well I can do the video editing and such. Hopefully the record button worked.
It'll be fine. It'll work. No problem.
It does say recording. So we'll see. So we're giving this all a shot. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if people like it. Maybe we'll stick with it.
So Duff, did something happen with the United this week?
Not really this week.
Mm-hmm.
So when we recorded 2 weeks ago, that was the 4th, and Minnesota tied 2-2. Let me see if I can do this here. They tied 2-2. Okay, so can you see that, Joe?
Yep.
Yeah.
Screen sharing.
Yeah. So and I did not watch this game, but I think it's the it was overall a very even game, and this was 2 weeks ago, but I did watch on Sunday, and this was an awesome game. Now it says obviously 3-0 beat FC Dallas. However, this game was like just absurd. I wish I had had time to go back and look up the video clips, but there were so many shots on goal that Dallas had on the Minnesota goal that didn't go in. It was ridiculous, and you could just see after several of these, like the Dallas players are just like, what can you do when the ball just refuses to go in? They were like just there were a couple plays in particular where like the Minnesota goalkeeper Dwayne St. Clair, yeah,
Yep.
he was like way out, and like the ball's just bouncing on its way, and then like a United defender comes in and like heads it out of the way. And actually one time, I can't remember which play this was. I wish I would have had time to go back and look at the video clip. That's why we're doing this on Zoom as opposed to just audio recording. But anyway, so I failed there. But it looked to me like the ball actually went in the net, and then they didn't call it as a goal. And that was early in the game. And that play in particular kind of really set the tone that like this was kind of just, the ball was literally going to bounce in favor
way. Good.
of Minnesota. Yeah. So overall, it was an exciting game. I actually got to watch pretty much the whole thing. And it was pretty exciting. And overall, just, a lot of nice shots. And it was great. And United just were really lucky. And Molino, he had 2 goals. And Reynoso had one kind of in the middle of the game there.
Excellent.
But the big news is they're in the playoffs. So coming up in like 4 days on Sunday night, you can tune in, and it's going to be, an exciting game.
Looks like it's at Allianz Field.
I think
so. So on the bottom there, but I don't know if that's what it really is.
No, I'm pretty sure. So I'm, here we are.
Well, Duff says you can get tickets.
Yeah, I kind of don't think so. Not for 2020. Here we are. It says Allianz here. I
must be.
It must. I don't remember now. I was looking on their Twitter feed earlier, and I just don't quite remember.
That's all right. It's fine.
It kind of doesn't matter. Anyway, it's again versus Colorado, and I can't remember now exactly if they've played. They must have played Colorado earlier this year. But anyway, everybody's really projecting it as going to be quite a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
good.
Right. Yeah, they beat Colorado. United beat Colorado back kind of right around Halloween time. They beat them 2-1.
Sure. James Wiseman was just selected by Golden State as the number 2 pick.
Okay. What is his?
That's not. That's most people thought that. He's from Memphis. Played for Memphis.
Okay. Very good. Nice.
He's like a center. That's why the Wolves didn't take him, because they have Towns.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
He's gonna be a good player.
So this coming Sunday, everybody should tune in if you're able and cheer on Minnesota United.
That's right.
Playoff game, really exciting. And something else I wanted to say.
Well, hopefully they keep
There was
winning.
another key story, but I've forgotten. Anyway, we can mention it next week. It wasn't a time urgent a story that I had on the United, but
That's okay.
Another story that we missed, Joe, that I wanted to go back to was that really demonstrates in our modern world how well it pays to be a cheater. And here we go. All right, you see this top one here?
Yeah.
See that grin?
Yeah, little Alex Cora coming back.
Here's what that grin says. That grin says, I cheated my way to a world championship, and they caught me, and I served my 1 year of probation or suspension or whatever it's called, and now I'm making bank.
I have mixed feelings on this. The guy can obviously manage, good manager, knows the game. Clearly was loved in Boston, came back, did his time. Yet, I don't know. It was kind of a big deal. He really severely cheated And I got to say, as an owner, I wouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
Out of,
The thing is somebody was going to. Like, he
it's true.
legitimately is a
It's
good
very
manager.
true.
And, but still, like, I just think about the precedent that it sets.
Mm. Well, and he was, and the Tigers hired the Houston Astros coach.
That's right. Cheating pays really well in baseball.
Yep, I think you're right.
Now, of course, we don't really know, unlike players' salaries, the managers' salaries aren't generally public knowledge. Although I think most managers make on the order of several $1 million per year if you're the top dog. I mean, maybe it's 5 million, maybe it's 10 million. Who nobody really knows those details. It might be 1 million if you're Ron Gardenhire and you literally get your job because you know how to make teams tank, which is why Detroit brought him in.
Right.
So maybe you're making less there versus, say, Dave, blanking on his name, Dave Roberts. Who's the manager of the Dodgers?
Dave Roberts.
Yeah, Dave Roberts. So I think it depends on what team. I'm sure the Twins are somewhere in the middle of that market, but I don't know. This photo just gets me like smiling all the way to the bank, baby. Boy.
Well, he did do his time, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully he's learned.
Yeah, well, I mean, he can learn a number of things from that episode. One of which is crime pays really well, and I don't know. I think it's ridiculous that he only got a 1-year suspension.
Right, and I think that's about the only thing that happened to the Red Sox, right? They didn't lose draft picks.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. So just 1 year off, and it's not even a year. It's like a lost season anyway. Oh, 60 games. Whatever.
Yeah, and then it ended up being 2020.
Yeah.
But well, it is what it is. Rob Manfred.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, so that's a fun story that I think really. Joe, holy moly, you went from Target Field all the way over to
I flew into St. Paul a little bit there. So
woo, that was fast.
Not sure how that happened. Still got my snacks.
They let you bring those through the door.
If you buy new ones, they seem happy. So I don't know.
In another story about cheating and how well it pays in baseball, shall we talk about somebody else?
In a second, but LaMelo Ball was just picked by the Charlotte Hornets.
Number three,
LaMelo Ball. So no surprises in the top 3. We knew those 3 guys were going in the top 3.
That's right. Yep.
Didn't really know the order, but we kind of knew the order. We knew the Timberwolves weren't picking Wiseman. It was either going to be Ball or Edwards, and most people thought Ball or thought Edwards. So no big surprises in the draft yet. I mean, of course, any of these guys can still be traded. So see what happens.
You want to talk about this fun story?
Oh, yeah. We had a gentleman today, kind of breaking news. Robinson Cano was suspended because he tested positive for steroids.
Yep.
So he, as a second-time offender, will be suspended for the entire year. He basically violated their drug policy and put a substance that's banned into his body and was caught. And he's out for the entire year, forfeits his salary. I believe it's like $24 million. Whew.
Yeah.
I mean, they're guaranteed anyway. What are you doing, Robinson Cano?
Yeah, we can go down here. I think his salary is somewhere on here.
There it is.
Here we are. 24 million. Whoosh, down the toilet.
So I don't think the Mets have to pay that, though, do they?
That's right. I think it translates as like
save money for the Mets, yeah.
Which is hilarious because the Mets just hired the richest owner by far in all of baseball.
Yeah. But they still have to pay Bobby Bonilla like $29 million. So this should help.
That's right. He's got like another decade or so, right, of his $1 million checks.
I don't know. It's insane.
Awesome.
With all the deferred money, it comes to like 29 million. Can you imagine? Bobby Bode.
Yeah. That's like in July or something every year.
I think it's July 1st. Yeah.
So
anyway, yeah, Robinson Cano. I mean, this takes out Hall of Fame. If he was ever going to get there, he's not going to get in the Hall of Fame now.
Yep.
2-time offender. I mean, people might be willing to overlook one mistake. 2, it's over.
Yeah.
Not that I'm sure he's more mad about the 24 million than the Hall of Fame, but this is not good. This is not good for anyone. It's not good for baseball. It's not good for Robinson Cano. It's not good for the Mets. The Mets now have to fill a hole, position of need.
Wow. I look at how much he's dropped off, though. I mean, you can see why he probably felt pressured to do something. Like if we look at his WAR, okay, he really came to be something, right, with the Yankees, and I was thinking it was closer to 2010, but actually it was before then. 2007 was a WAR of 6.7, and then nothing in 2008. But then 2009, now we're looking at WARs of 4.5, 8, 6, 8.5, 6.5, and then 2020 a WAR of 0.9, 2019.
Yeah, he had a decent year last year.
But nowhere near these huge wins above replacement values from like 2015 or 2012. Even
well, look when he
2016,
started getting paid the big bucks. He had a 6.3 WAR.
Yep. So
he's had 17 WAR since then. So, which is still good. It's a good player.
Look at this overall WAR of 68.9.
Yeah, that's
forget
Hall of
what
Fame.
the Hall of Fame cutoff typically.
No, obviously Puckett did not. And Puckett's in the Hall of Fame, but he had his career cut short. But his was like 52 or 55.
Yeah. Anyway, Robinson Cano.
Well, when you look at it, he's got 2,600 hits. He's going to get to 3,000 now. Maybe he won't, but it doesn't matter anymore.
That's right.
He's not going to be in the Hall of Fame. Patrick Williams, pick number 4.
Cool.
Yeah.
What team?
For the Bulls. A little bit of a surprise there.
Yeah. Let's see here. So Cano he's like you said, I think there's going to be a lot of actual repercussions for this mistake, unlike Alex Cora. And
this was a big mistake. So. Big deal. Well, Duff, we had a great game. We've had a great 3 games in a row here for the Vikings. What's going on with the team? What do you think?
Oh man. Well, I mean, so it's not really what I think, it's what I know. I know they won't win the Super Bowl. I'm like pretty sure they won't I really know they won't make the Super Bowl. So we're like working backwards here from things I like really know to be true. Like by definition. And so I don't know. They have, I think I looked it up. They now have a 37% chance of making the playoffs or something. And a lot of, and
honestly, that's gotta be higher with their schedule. Their remaining schedule.
Maybe. I mean, I think of course they do play the Cowboys this week, and the Cowboys are like literally terrible.
Like on their 9th quarterback.
Yeah.
I mean, literally it's their 4th.
I don't even know who the quarterback is anymore.
Right.
Yeah, it's their 4th quarterback in like 9 games, right? So
that's pretty crazy.
Really bad news, of course, for them. And well, yeah, so they have the Cowboys coming up, of course, who are actually very terrible. But they're still with their 4-5 now. Oh boy, it's in Target Center now. Moving all around.
It was intermission.
Oh, I see.
I had to hop over back to Minneapolis.
So yeah, I don't know. I could maybe see them kind of backing into the playoffs here.
Remember, there's 7 teams now, not 6, 7 that make the playoffs.
Yeah, well, they might be number 7. So
Well, but when you think about it, now I wish that they had beaten the Seahawks. I wish they'd beaten the Tennessee Titans because they outplayed both those teams.
Or the Texans too.
Well, and the the terrible, horrific, awful Atlanta Falcons. I mean, what some of this stuff. But when you're super young on defense, what do you do?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, here we are. So 538 gives the Vikings a 36% chance of making the playoffs. And if they beat Dallas, which they're expected to, that goes up to 43% chance.
Sure.
So, but I imagine if they lose to Dallas, it goes completely to zero. Let's see. Yeah, if they lose to Dallas, then they only have a 15% chance of making the playoffs.
Sure.
But they look really to make the playoffs and really for us to have any expectations of a postseason run, they're going to have to beat either Tom Brady or the Saints. Like if you look at the remaining schedule,
and I think either team could be beaten.
Well, they could be beaten, but
well, and especially in 2020, what if you go up against the Buccaneers and Tom Brady's out with COVID?
Well, that's true. Maybe.
Of course, Dalvin Cook might be out with COVID, which would not be good, of course.
Yeah. So here, let me share something here. Here we are. Oh, 1 second. I don't know how to do this.
That's right. You work on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I think that this, even though the Packers are only lost 2 games, they're overrated. Everything has fallen their way. Again, the refs bailed them out. They go up against teams that are decimated, like San Francisco. Like, they go out to San Francisco and half their team is out. They're decimated by injury. I mean, and they don't even look good against them. They lose at home to the Vikings. They don't look good last week. I'm not scared of the Packers. I'm not, the Vikings have a lot of work to do. Not that they're going to go in there and whoop on anybody. Nobody should be afraid of the Vikings. But I tell you what, this offense is legit. Justin Jefferson is a star. Dalvin Cook might be the MVP. I mean, he's the best offensive player. Might be the MVP. I mean, depends on what the Vikings do. Right. Last non-quarterback MVP was Adrian Peterson. We got a lot of weapons.
Yeah.
Thielen, good player. Obviously good wide receiver.
I want to share one thing here. Got it up here.
Our defense is coming together. This is good. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is off Google. And let me just see if I can move this thing out of the way. Okay, so this play here, this is the touchdown. This play, so this is from the Bears game this past week, and both of us, of course, picked the Vikings to lose because it's at Soldier Field, and the Vikings always lose at Soldier Field. Oh boy, we're at US Bank Stadium now.
I had to, man. Look at what we're doing here.
Yeah. So this play is what convinced me that like maybe the Vikings wouldn't lose this game, and this is, you can see it's first quarter, it's 3rd and 3, and they're basically setting up for a field goal, because they're on like the 17-ish yard line.
And in this situation, I always go for, if you can get positive yardage on 3rd down here, you go for it on 4th down.
So
in my mind.
So this is the play that convinced me, maybe Kirk Cousins will finally show up on Monday Night Football, because he's lost 10 in a row or something.
I think he was 0-9.
So here we go. Takes the snap and just
sick catch.
Just an amazing catch. I'm not sure if they do the replay here. No, they don't do the replay. But
watch this number 89 here, or 69 down here on the left-hand side. Is that 89 here for the defense? Yeah, watch him.
No, this is offense.
Well, this is a different play. Go back to the prior play.
Okay, hold on. I don't know how to.
I think you just do it on the bottom. Scroll it.
Yes. However, the zoom control bar is right on top of it, and I do.
Oh, that's frustrating.
How to move?
That's okay. Don't worry about it. It looked like their guy went hands to the face on our
Let me just
linemen. Look at that right there. See, he's got hands to the face there.
Hold on. Okay.
Watch this guy now. The second one.
You're talking
The next guy. Yep, this one.
him?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, by the way, he's probably 3 technique, right? Because he's lined up here in the
Yes, he is.
gap.
Watch where his hand shoot. Oh, nope. I think they went to his elbow pads. It looked live. I thought he got him in the face, but
I see.
look at that one-handed grab there.
And
Wow.
he's like, he's like rotating it in his arm as he's like falling on it. It's just the most amazing catch. I wish they had done the replay here on this highlight reel, but yeah, it was stunning. And anyway, so that play is what made me think, the Vikings may have a chance today at winning. Then, of course, they went out and did a whole bunch of bad things, mostly on special teams. I don't know what is going on in special teams over the last block punts. Just
Who knows?
Miffed. Oh boy. Well, in any case, Vikings win in Soldier Field for the first time since
1800s.
I don't know. I think it's only their second time this century, right?
Probably.
I think it's like they win there once every 10 years or so.
Yeah.
And of course it's 2020, so this would be the year when like weird things happen. So why not?
Right.
But
it's exciting. It's fun to watch. I'm pumped. I'm thrilled. Let's go. Let's go, team. Fire up. This defense is looking like they're coming together. Zim's got them going the right way. Now let's just not have a big COVID outbreak. The Raiders today put 7 people on their COVID list. Man. So they have to watch them. So if none of those test positive, then they can all come back for the game. But to have 7 it's not good because then they can't practice all week either. So
right.
Excited for the Vikings.
What I'm trying to think though is, has the team actually improved since like
the defense has
a horrible game? It's like the Texans or whatever.
The defense has improved. Absolutely.
And I was sort of thinking about it, and you can sort of rationalize away any of these wins. For example, the game really turned when the great who's the great defender for the Bears who had to sit out at the end of that game?
Yeah, Hicks got hurt.
Yeah. He got hurt or something, and that totally changed the dynamic of that defense, and the Vikings offense was able to actually capitalize, which was nice to finally see the Vikings take advantage of the other team's disadvantage. Usually, of course, we're just used to the Vikings throwing away every advantage they have. And in any case, there's like you can concoct a story for every game so far that the Vikings have actually won. And what I wanted to do, but I didn't have time to do it, was kind of look at like individual players and see, are they improving from like the beginning of the season to now? And that's kind of how I would make the assessment. Because the result of any particular game, it comes down to just a few bobbles of the ball here or there, or a bounce of the ball. And that's one reason, like, I don't really like football as much as baseball, is football is based oftentimes more on just like, did you get a lucky bounce on when the ball hit the turf, than baseball, where it's like much more statistical, oftentimes, which is nice. You get enough games to sort of average everything out in baseball.
Right.
Well, in any case, so what I was kind of getting at is like, are there individual players on the defense who are now playing better than they were at the beginning of the season, or on the offense? Certainly not on special teams. We won't go there.
Well, I think Kirk Cousins is playing better on offense. He's making fewer mistakes, and I think it's by design. I think they turned him more into a game manager role, and that helps with Dalvin Cook back being healthy. When Dalvin Cook was out, well, he had to do more, and when Kirk Cousins has to do more than he can, he does less than he's able to.
That's correct.
That's just who Kirk Cousins is. There's some guys that in the big spotlight rise to the occasion, and there's some that just fade away. And you know what side he's on. He's done better. No, he's won a Monday Night Football game. He won a big postseason game last year. So, he's done better, which is good. It's good to see improvement. It's never too late to improve and get better. But we usually know where he falls. So but I would say he's definitely improved. I think it's scary to say, but I think Justin Jefferson has seen improvement. I think our offensive coordinator, Gary Kubiak, kind of knows who he has, and he realizes he has a good offense, not a great offense, a good offense, and he's got a lot of weapons. Zim, he's the magic man in the secondary, and he's got Harrison Smith back there, and Harrison Smith shows up big.
That interception was just also another play where it's like, wait, something good was happening for the Vikings.
Yeah. He knew what was going on there, so it was good.
He almost lost it. I don't know if you kind of noticed that. He's like bobbling it as he's like carrying down, but so that was like giving me another heart attack.
Oh, really? It's just football stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not important.
But, we saw a lot of very characteristic Vikings moments in that game. We saw a fumble by Kyle Rudolph. We saw some terrible special teams plays.
Thielen fumbled it too, didn't he?
I don't actually understand what that play was, because it wasn't an interception. It was already in Thielen's hands, so it's not like someone intercepted it. It definitely wasn't a fumble though. It was a steal. Can you just call it a steal? He took it out of Thielen's hands.
Yeah, he did. He took it away from him.
But that was the other weird thing that I noticed about this game with the Bears is it seemed like every play they're constantly going for the ball to try and force a turnover. And it seemed way more aggressive than most games that I've watched. It was noticeably more aggressive that they were going for.
Well, they were getting away with things too,
Oh yeah. Well, that's always,
I saw the one bad call against the Vikings or against the Bears where we should have had the pass. They should have called it pass or roughing the passer or whatever. Personal foul. And the announcers even brought it up, and I'm yelling at TV. What about the 6 missed calls they just did on the Vikings that were just as egregious? That made up hold.
And what? That face mask? They had a face mask, clear as day, just not called. And the announcers, of course, don't really mention it because it's a good, that would have helped the Vikings. So.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Biased media.
They're always biased against my teams. Why is that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, too funny. Well, I don't have a whole lot else to say about the Vikes. It's kind of, you did what you could do to put yourself into a position where you have a chance. So now you got to take the next step. And so we'll see what happens.
The other thing is, if you look at the record, they don't have the best record in the NFC North, but they do have the best head-to-head, and a conference record. They're 3-1 against other NFC North teams. So I don't know if it comes down to tiebreaker or something like that.
It won't. I know the Packers are so far ahead, but
yeah, maybe. But they could stumble too. They could have a COVID thing.
Yeah, could probably find their next quarterback of the future.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Turns out he was
it's Jordan Love, the guy they drafted, the next Hall of Famer.
I was gonna say one of the bench coaches or the guy who washes the jerseys. I don't know.
No, that's the Cowboys.
Packers do it. Well, yeah, that's
the Cowboys stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what else is on our agenda for tonight?
You had wanted to talk about high school sports in Minnesota.
Yeah, big news coming out today. Obviously, with our COVID problem. The high school sports have been paused starting Saturday. So anything that's still going here for Friday can continue. And I've heard that teams are scrambling to at least get another game or two in before Saturday. So big news. It's a shame it's had to happen. We're not going to get into the political stuff here. It's just the facts that it is happening, and it's too bad that this had to happen and that this is occurring. Hopefully that means the season is paused. Maybe volleyball and stuff can maybe start back up after the pause. I don't know. Maybe at that point we're already into basketball season and then it's over. But
Did they talk
The
about
big
how
deal
long?
here is youth sports too. So there's no hockey, there's no basketball, nothing. So it's all paused. So like on the headlight there, had the highlight, it said high school and youth sports
That's right.
headed. So it's a big deal.
It's a 4-week sports pause. Okay.
Yeah. I don't think they really necessarily paused youth sports last time
You're talking about like in March
in
or
the
April,
spring.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know. Got to do something like, boy.
apparently there was 700 and some cases tied to sports outbreaks. There was a number of outbreaks, and that was how many cases were tied to it. I don't know. We're getting like 6,000 cases a day, so I'm not.
And with a
certain.
positivity rate of 15%, you're not catching them all.
Oh no,
No hope. So
no. They
every
still
number you
tell
give-
us. They still tell us it's not spreading in schools. When I know 2 people that have gotten it from being at school, so I'm not sure.
Well, that's to be expected. And oftentimes, I would not call a lot of these things lies. Like, a lot of people, I mean, us included, are just overwhelmed, overworked, overexerted, not sleeping. So, it's a pandemic. Everybody.
Well, they got to do certain
struggles.
things, and I get that. It's just too bad we're in this situation. About the whole thing. So
Yeah.
Another reason we don't like 2020.
Yep. It. Well. 2020. Used to have more hair.
Yeah, I'm not doing too bad.
You ready for trivia?
I'll do it.
What year did baseball initiate the designated hitter?
Ooh. I'm gonna.
I was thinking about it.
I want to say the 70s. I want to say it was the early 70s.
I was thinking about it this week because, in 2020, this was the first baseball season where the National League had the designated hitter, and people are expecting that to continue next year. It hasn't really been decided yet, but it should soon, because like free agency is going to start, and National League teams need to know, like, do we need to go looking for a big bat who might not be able to run or field? So that got me thinking, well, when did the American League start with a designated hitter? And I had no idea. I couldn't have even named the decade.
I know it's the 70s. It's got to be the 70s.
Yeah. It's
I don't know. 72.
Close. 73.
Oh, okay.
So, adopted by the American League in 73. And since then, basically every league now has a designated hitter. And there's been a lot of famous ones over the years, but I think both of us are hoping that the Twins re-sign Nelson Cruz to be the designated hitter next year. I would say there's one thing I would want a little bit more than Nelson Cruz coming back, and that would be to see Trevor Bauer outage on Twitter. Bauer in a Twins uniform. Now, I don't know. The chances of that are so unlikely, but hey, I can.
Well,
it's not my.
They're more likely with Bauer than they would be with somebody else, because I think Bauer would be fine with coming to Minnesota, unlike other people. But they're probably less with Bauer too, because I think he's just going to take top dollar.
He had this thing on Twitter. He's like, the city with the most Instagram followers, I will join their team. And it's like, okay, let's make 1 million fake accounts and prove.
Well, that's kind of funny, because a little tie into that is Jacksonville is trying to vote Mbakwe to the Pro Bowl, because then if he gets on the Pro Bowl, Jacksonville gets a little bit better draft pick. I don't think teams were thinking that would occur, but yeah, now the fans can control if if Nobakwe ends up on the Pro Bowl and can get a better draft pick
Oh,
for the team. How amazing is that?
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna have to take that out of the next few deals, huh?
Yep. So anyway, Trevor Bauer, I would love to see him come to Minnesota and take over that number 1 slot. And oh man, that'd be amazing. And he said outright that he wouldn't mind a 1-year deal. He kind of thinks that makes sense, 1 year at a time. Oh boy, I don't believe him.
I think he goes to the Dodgers.
Yeah. Oh, Dodgers. I was thinking Yankees because all the players that I don't want to end up at the Yankees.
Or he stays in Cincy. He could stay there. We'll see.
Maybe.
I don't think he's going to New York.
Yeah, maybe.
Though that, man,
we were
Garrett Cole, Trevor Bauer, top of your rotation. Oh boy. But think when Kepler comes to town, it's going to be like 8 home runs. He just has to pop it out to right field. Home run.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Kepler could do that up Bauer.
But here's the funny thing. The Yankees are actually looking for starting pitching because Tanaka, he's a free agent now, right? And there's some talk that maybe the Twins, he might be a good fit for the Twins.
Ooh, the Knicks took Obi Toppin. I think the Timberwolves had their eye on him if they were going to be able to trade back up.
I see.
He's a forward.
Okay.
Out of Dayton.
Mm-hmm. So, anyway, I don't know. I hate it if Bauer went to the Yankees. Yeah, but
maybe just keep him over there. Maybe the Rays will knock him out.
yeah. Hey, why not?
I've heard a scenario or two that says the Twins should trade for Blake Snell. I think I'd be all for that.
That sounds good to me. I don't know. I don't know. So the rotation, well, we don't want to go into this too much, but there's spots to add in the rotation. That's for sure.
Now, if you get Bauer, who's your opening day starter?
Bauer.
Or is it Maeda?
Which one of those two won the Cy Young?
Well, Bauer won the Cy Young, but Maeda maybe would have won the Cy Young against Bauer.
Oh, that's true. I don't know what they're like.
And it's always, and this year not as much, but it's usually harder to pitch in the American League than the National League because of the DH.
Yeah, but not last. Well, maybe it still was true last year because
a little bit because the DHs weren't as good
for DH. Yeah. That could be. But I think my hunch is the disparity went from like here to here.
I agree. I agree.
I don't know.
It was
I can describe that, but like, I feel like the disparity, like you're replacing a 100, a pitcher has a batting average of like what, 100, and you're going to replace him with somebody who's probably batting 250.
Sometimes I think it can be as much as a half a run differential between the two leagues. Between the pitcher being replaced with a designated hitter. American League. So the ERA is to even be the same amount of pitcher, your ERA is usually a half run higher, and you're considered just as good.
Yep. Very good. All right, Joe. Anything else?
Oh, no, I don't have anything else. How about you?
Nope. That's it.
Yeah. So I hope everyone's safe out there and making good choices and just taking care of each other and being positive. So just want to remind yourself to be kind to everyone, grow your own food, and John 3:16.